What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Coach Joe Strong, here with another powerful episode of the Business of Strength podcast, where you can hear the tips, tools, and interviews to turn your passion for strength into a business you can love and be proud of. Today, we have a very special guest, my good friend, Noam Tamir from TS Fitness in New York City. This is Noam's second time being nominated for Gym of the Year among a third time. Do we all
Third,
3 years? Oh my goodness.
this is
Third
third
time. All
time's a
right. The third
charm,
time's a
baby.
charm, baby. We're gonna win this one, right?
Go.
And Noem has had really 3 incredible years, but this one being the absolute best in my opinion. We have all the Gym of the Year nominees. This is a nominee by all the coaches in the BOS staff and the past Gym of the Year winners. So the Gym of the Year nominees fill out an extensive document with some background on the business, things they've grown, areas they've, let's call it like, roadblocks they've overcome for the year. Obviously, growth in revenue, sales, marketing, things like that, those things, but also like how they've grown their team, how they've grown personally as a leader. And Noam is the first of 4 nominees that I'm going to be interviewing over the next few weeks. And he set the bar pretty high for the rest of the crew because he handed in a really, really great document that not only highlights the success of the business that he's running, but also his personal growth as a leader, as a business owner, entrepreneur in the hardest market, the toughest, most competitive market in the world, New York City. So, Noel, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being an amazing member of our Business of Strength, Strongest Year community. And thanks for being my friend and being cool, man, and always wanting to hang out and do cool stuff.
Well, first off, thanks so much. I really appreciate the nomination. And one thing that I really like to always emphasize is that nobody does it alone. The support from you guys, the support from just everybody that's in this group, the ideas, the support that I get from my team as well. They have been incredible. We've brought on some great new talent. We've moved people around. We kind of just spoke a little bit about having the right people in the right seats, which we've kind of nailed this year, which I'm really happy about. And that has definitely created a lot of freedom for me to create collaborations and to really focus on the marketing, which has really helped us grow significantly. And everybody's benefited. I'm in a better mindset. The management is in better mindset, and we're leading our coaches really well. So
Yeah, and I think like, Dan Sullivan talks about finding your like, unique superpower, right? And then putting yourself in the right seats. And it's amazing how much more excited people are to come to work and do their job when they're doing something they love or they're passionate about or they enjoy doing. And I think like again, going through your doc and just obviously being your personal coach and working with you personally throughout the year, I've seen a huge transformation in what you've done with your team, making sure that you're pulling the right levers for each person, that you're giving them opportunities to contribute on a level that makes them excited, as well as, making sure that, the company and the business are getting what they need to. And I think that's a fine tune, like, at your level of business and where a lot of the gym owners are at that like stage 3, stage 4, where they've really grown a substantial business with multiple employees looking to scale to multiple locations, right? It really is fine tuning the knobs, as they say, and really and you've done a really great job. So
thank you.
let's give a little context. All right, for anybody who's unfamiliar with TS, tell us a little bit about who your business, who you serve, what makes TS tick in New York City, and what do you believe like your brand stands for? What separates you guys?
So other than Joe, I'm probably the oldest person in this group. So yeah, we look the best. But I started TS Fitness back in 2011. I was a one-on-one personal trainer from Crunch, was a personal training manager, and really just loved fitness. An athlete in high school, loved playing soccer, was super active, just all the time, picked up boxing. Just I love the whole gym atmosphere and decided to take all my skill set and the clientele that I had and decide to open up a fitness studio down the block from where I started. It's 1,000 square feet, $3,000 a month rent, which is nothing right now. Right now, I'm paying about close to 15,000
Mhm.
for more than double the size. But Yeah, it's been an incredible ride. Started doing small group training pretty much within 2 years. I had a trainer that went to Results Fitness on the West Coast,
Hmm.
brought it
Hmm.
back, and boom, I was like, this is our model. We didn't eliminate the private training. We still did some group fitness, but it was really COVID was an incredibly difficult time for us. Just people dropping like flies, businesses dropping like flies everywhere. And we were able to get through it, workouts outside, virtual training, giving people equipment, giving them heavier weights, swapping out stuff. And what I decided was let's get rid of the group fitness classes that we were doing, it was really like 10 people, and let's go all in on small group training. And our revenue doubled, and I was able to again educate a team on the type of coaching that we want, the type of clientele that we want, the type of environment and culture that TS Fitness, which stands for Together Stronger, is all about. And we just thrived from there. Uh, you
Great.
know, have had my share of coaches come through. And what I realized was that I needed full-time people. I want people that are fully invested in the business. We were having a lot of turnover with employees because they were part-time and had other things going on.
Mhm.
So one big thing that we've done over the last, I would say, year or so is only bring people on that are full-timers that we can give salaries to
Mhm.
and that we can really, really make a huge impact on and not have them 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Uh, we've started coaches meetings. We've started, the accountability scorecard, which has been great so far,
Yep.
and just more and more systems that we actually use and that create beneficial, beneficial either experiences, data for the business. So
Yeah.
that's really where we've gone. Yeah, we've just been able to have a lot more clarity with that. We've been able to really create those rituals. Dan talks about that, the
Yep.
rituals. And
Yep.
that has been really, really impactful. The coaches trust us. They know they can rely on us. We're transparent with the vision of TS Fitness, which is in the next 6 months is to open another studio, uh,
Yep.
to bring on, either promote from within, which is really what I want to do,
Hmm.
and bring on another two coaches. Um, yeah, and that type of system has really helped us grow. So,
Sure, sure. Keeping it consistent. That was one of the things when we first started working together that we noticed like your meetings were always getting moved around, canceled, changed, right? There wasn't a real like focus on consistency within what we like to refer to as the pulse of the business, which is the reoccurring meeting, check-in, and communication schedule that occurs intra team, that keeps, as Dan likes to say, the trains moving on time, or like I like to say, keeps that flywheel spinning, right? It really is, that consistent advisory team meeting, sales meetings, stand-up meetings, things like that. And you've done a great job. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers, right? Obviously, in the
sure.
first 6 months of the year, you've generated close to 700,000 in revenue in a 2,000 square foot studio. You're on pace to do roughly 1.4 million in New York City as a
Oh,
solo
yeah.
shop, right? That's phenomenal. That puts you literally in the top,
Mm.
1% of private sector gyms in the country. Um, what's been, some of the biggest drivers for that success so far this year? What are some of the marketing sales levers that you've used to really focus on driving sales this year? What are some of the big ticket items?
Well, first, one thing is, I'll give Mike Lisi a shout out and Ignite. They've been really good and responsive. Started off the year well with them, and we've had to play with some things. I've recently switched over my website to them. I was with another company, so it was difficult for them to do things, insert things, and over the last couple of weeks, Parker's come up to me. He's like, "What's going on? We're on fire right now. All the
It's
people that are
great.
coming in are so much more qualified." So that's been really great for us. We did tap into some influencer marketing, which I think was really great. Some micro influencers on the Upper East Side,
Sure.
which is really unique to the Upper East Side. I've actually looked to see, we almost opened up a studio on the Upper
Hmm.
West and had a landlord that, tried to switch things up after everything was signed. But
I
again,
remember.
to be, it was also during a difficult time where I was going through my divorce. So
Hmm.
I just said, you know what, let's just focus on, you know, the East Side location.
Yep.
And so we started reaching out to influencers, and it's really neat because there's so many Upper East Side influencers, but in other areas I've been trying to find them, and there's not really that many. But the mothers of the Upper East Side are a force to be reckoned with. You get a good reputation with them, they're bringing people. So
Sure.
that has really been amazing for us. I think we've gotten something like 25 to 26 referrals so far this year, which is solid for us.
That's really good.
We've gone up 100K in revenue, probably a little bit more than that. And the levers were, yes, offering highly discounted deals. We're doing a 3 for 99 deal, which if you would have told me
I
that I
was going to talk
would
to you
do
about
that,
that. This is your new front end offer that you switched up to, and again, I'm not patting myself on the back here, like I had some
yeah,
magical wand here, but I was hating on your front end offer for a couple years. You had a very complicated and expensive
50% off the
front
first
end. Yeah,
month.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to,
And
yeah,
I urged Noam to
strangle me.
try something so simple,
Yeah.
stupid, and reasonably cheap that people felt like, again, to use Hermosi's term, stupid not taking it.
Yeah. So I mean, initially we actually completely took off the 50%. We're like, hey, sign up. This is what we're offering. Parker
Yep.
was excellent at doing that. As a backup, we would give $100 off if they signed up on the spot. But Parker was like, hey, let's just try it this way without even offering anything. And so we had some good success with that. Do the $100 when we need to. And then the 3 for 99 deal was, for this influencer, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah.
We've been
Now,
able,
for context,
yeah,
that's for small group
whole
personal
group
training. Yep,
training.
that's not one on one. Yep,
We charge close to that for one session, and we're giving
right,
it for three.
right.
The conversion rate for us has been over 30% for that, which is pretty great from that. That's just not including, I mean, that's not including the regular people that we get,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just from other marketing, paid
Yep.
marketing, referrals, and things like that. That's just people through the influencer marketing that we've been doing. Parker will use it as like a backstop. Like again, if people are like, I don't know, he's like, well, I got this deal, 3 for 99. And
Yep.
so we're pulling that lever, um, doing a lot of events. We've done like a number of charity events, and we've been
Hmm.
really, really intentional with the follow-up on those events. So that's
Hmm.
that's been super productive and um, impactful. Um, our coaches have been better about asking for referrals. Our marketing calendar has been really locked in. We did like a New Year's deal. Then we went right into well, actually, bingo was January. Then February was a BOGO. Then March was our color clash. April, I think we took off, but we did two charity events there. May, I think we did the mothers stuff in May. And then June, we took off. And then July, we're doing bingo again. So there's been a lot of initiatives to get referrals, to get
Great.
social media proof.
Now,
ID.
talk to me a little bit about your digital marketing. Now, you mentioned Ignite. Now, obviously, we work with them too.
Yeah.
For those, to give Mike and his team a shout out to Ignite Entrepreneurs. We'll put the link in the show notes here. We have a great deal with Mike and the team. Anybody who signs up, who listens to the show, you can sign up and get a free, like basically a free marketing audit from them and some cool stuff. But Mike, they are a digital agency that does websites, funnels, digital ads, stuff like that. The majority of us run some type of Facebook ads, but you run a lot of Google ads. Talk to me a little bit about the difference there and where you see like the majority of your leads coming from when it comes to paid ads and paid traffic.
Well, we're unique in that like Facebook, Instagram, they are flooded with these companies that will
Sure.
pour tens of thousands of dollars per month. The biggest thing that we do really well is we have really great domain authority, through being mentioned in articles, but also
Hmm.
through like reviews. Like it's really surprising to me how many gyms don't do reviews in New York City.
Yeah.
The goal is to get to 400 in the next 2 weeks. And then we got like another 200 on Yelp, 400 Google, 200 on Yelp. So you get really good local search. Also with AI now, it's super important to be what is it not? It's not SEO, it's AI
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
optimized.
yeah. What do they call this now? Like, I don't
AI
even know.
optimized.
Like
AIO.
chat search or
It's
AI search, basically.
AIO. Yeah, yeah. So I would say in the last 2 months, we've gotten like 4 or 5 people that have said they've like tried to find us on, they found us on the ChatGPT or Claude, things like that. Um, what I think we're also seeing right now with Ignite is they really optimized our website for load time. So the other website that we had, the load time was significantly slower. And there's ways for you to test that. And if you don't know how to test that, I definitely recommend asking ChatGPT, what are some things that I can do and rate myself on how quickly I load my website loads, because I think that's also a huge driver in getting leads.
Whether or
So,
not people stick with it. If it's loading too slow, they just bounce, right?
exactly, exactly. So that was great. Yeah, we do a lot of Google ads. Um, our acquisition cost is quite high, but what's really important is what is your lifetime value? So our acquisition cost without labor is around $1,000 per lead, per client. Per client. Our
Hmm.
lifetime value is $6,500.
Okay.
So, it's a 6x, which is
Yep.
great. Not including labor costs, which, increase it a bit, but I know we just spoke a little bit about increasing that.
Sure. But
Um,
your LTV is good,
our L-
obviously, and your length of stay is your arm is good. You know what I mean? And
New York
so
City. Yeah.
for New York City, your length of stay is pretty good. So the big question I have is obviously one of your goals personally to me at the end of last year was, hey, I got to make the business a little bit more anti-fragile, less reliant on me. If every decision has to go through me, if the processes have to go through me, ultimately that's a reflection of my poor leadership. And I want to be able to lead through others like you and Dan do. I want to be able to give, my top staff members, right, Philip Parker, the opportunity to, make decisions on their own and feel confident that if Philip wants to give somebody a discount or Parker wants to, throw somebody a free session
Yeah,
that they're
empower
not,
them to do that.
they don't have to run back to, to their dad in a sense and ask for permission and stuff like that. How have you been able to grow the business while still removing yourself from some of the day to day? I get it that you're there all the time, but you're not really trained. You're not training. You're not on the, you're not like a scheduled coach who's scheduled for classes all the time. You're not you take plenty of vacations and things like that. So how has that intersect of, you know, driving the growth of the business and still being able to, in a sense, remove yourself from the day-to-day operations? Give me some clues as to how that's gone down.
Well, I think that meetings are super important to be able to get yourself away from the day to day. So having really, really productive level 10 meetings is a must for us. Uh, having good structure, making sure that we're reviewing all the numbers, all the KPIs, all the, our one thing, like what are we doing each week to move the business forward?
Hmm.
Uh, we're IDSing, we're talking about like,
Hmm.
what are some roadblocks? Um, you know, if we're not on track, code red. And I've been able to rely on Philip now to put that into place and not have to ask him to do that. You
Hmm.
spoke a lot about, you know, letting letting people fail. So when it's, I'm allowing them to fail now when they and not being like that overbearing parent being like, oh, just being like, okay, that's all right. Like, what can we do better next time? You give me some ideas what you think would be How can we take that approach better? So we spoke about my leadership being significantly better this year, and that is being more, not being as reactive,
Hmm.
taking a breath. And what I've noticed is now they come to me a lot more, they're more comfortable around me.
Hmm.
They mess up or when they want to bring something to my attention, they are almost more relaxed now. They're not,
Hmm.
walking on eggshells when they speak to me, which I think is that's great. That's what you want from your
Yeah,
team. You want them to be able to come to you almost like
sure,
a mentor. You speak
sure.
about like them being your children, uh, and coming to me for more than just business stuff, but personal stuff
Right,
as well.
right.
So I think that I've created a lot stronger bonds and relationships with my management and my staff. So that's been great. Also like asking them and empowering them about personal things, like what do they want to accomplish. So we've done, manifestation letters together. We've
I
done,
love it.
yeah, we've done, we're on point with, I don't do quarterly reviews, but I do, mid-year and end of year reviews.
Right,
I think quarterly is a little bit much, but I do take them out for lunch. I'll take them
right.
out for breakfast.
Little
I'll
mini
uh,
vision plan, like what are we trying to
exactly.
accomplish? And
Yeah.
again, like someone like Philip who's married, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, like what do you and your wife like? What are your financial needs? Like understanding those things again helps you paint that yellow brick road for them. And like, hey, like, all right, great. So if I know you need another 50K in salary
Yeah.
in the next 3 years because you're planning on having a family, you and your wife want to have two kids. It's like, all right, well, how do we reverse engineer that process? What does the company finances need to look like in order for that to be be truth? You
Yep.
know?
100%. And then, getting them, I mean, this has already been over a year now, but getting them their 401ks,
Yep,
getting
that's
into
been a
that,
big hit.
basically holding their hands to go do it and being like, here's the advisor, let him talk to you. And I still want to work on that. We talked about one of my coaches being in some financial debt, which I've spoken to him a little bit about. And when I get back from being away, definitely a conversation that I'm going to have with him to help him out.
Yep.
But definitely want to get like a snapshot of more of his situation
Yeah,
before
yeah, yeah.
jumping into
Well,
that.
look, I mean,
But
money matters to people, right?
sure.
But the intangibles that you're talking about, the benefits and things like that. But also, I think the biggest thing, especially from your from your top people, is the purpose, the buy-in. You've given them purpose. You've given them, ownership. You've given them, like let's call it they feel like they've made real contribution. And when somebody feels like they've owned and contributed to something, they're way more likely to
Push it forward.
stick. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's really great. Talk to me about a little bit about like how important in the process of um, making the business less dependent on you. How important was really getting clear and diving in? Because I know you spent a lot of time on this in quarter one and going into the new year. How important was it to make sure that everybody was crystal clear on the org chart, their duties and responsibilities? So everybody had their siloed roles, and there was, you removed a lot of the like gray area of people like doing similar jobs or pointing the finger and things like that, and then having the systems to back them up. So like if you're not in the building for 2 weeks, there's a system for everything that can be followed, and they don't have to like call you for everything.
I mean, we're continuously, designing playbooks, and we're deleting old ones. So
Hmm.
I think that that's really, upgrading stuff, making sure that that there is complete clarity on things, and that there is like when we've hired people now, our KRAs and our KPIs are really crystal clear. Um, Philip got promoted to general manager, so we were crystal clear on what his responsibilities are, what his roles are. Parker also was promoted. These are people that are well deserving and have worked super hard to accomplish these positions. And so again, as they have progressed in their career, making sure that we are clear with meetings, with documentation on what exactly their roles are. And if they have problems or issues or challenges, what the protocols are, rather than just not notifying me, coming to me, and we have a conversation. And sometimes things need to be re-examined. So I think what's really important is being able to adjust, as situations occur. Like right now, we're going through that whole, scoreboard, the coach's scoreboard, and we have a Excel sheet that they need to fill out each week. Did they do their reach outs? Did they write their card? Did they do this? Did they do that? And we're still working on the clarity there. We have a system now where they need to highlight if they close out the loop of conversation. And we need to talk a little bit about that because that is getting them a little bit discouraged. So, small things. Again, you want them to buy in, you want them to contribute to the things that they are going to be doing. So we just need to adjust them as needed.
So one of the big moves this year was obviously you moved everybody to salary. And when I
Yeah,
say that to a lot of people or people hear that and listen, they might say salary, that's going to cost me a fortune. Like Jesus Christ, like between, especially in New York City, I don't have to tell you, no, I mean, you get a little extra tax just
yeah.
for just for being in the city. Don't you love that? It's like, not New York, not Rockland County, New York
No, but New
City,
York
extra,
City.
extra.
Yeah,
We're gonna
of course.
tax the tax, right? And then so like you moved everybody to salary. Give me the mindset and the
It's a big
process behind that.
it's a big opportunity. It's the opportunity cost. I mean, Hermosi says it. He's like, you want freedom, you want your time back to be able to do big things. You have to invest in your team. You have to, lay out the money so that you have the time and it pays off in the end.
Hmm.
So I think that's something that's really important for me is to make sure that these people are, they people crave what? What do they crave? You always say they want security
Security, yep.
and
They
then
want purpose, right? They want to. They
consistency,
want to.
security. Yep,
Yep,
exactly.
exactly. Obviously money is it, but they crave consistency, security,
Yeah.
and purpose, right?
I
And
mean,
the
the money's a
contribution.
security, so
Yeah.
knowing that they're getting a paycheck that's consistent and also being able to get bonused on it when we hit certain metrics, and then also being able to do private training on top of that and make more
Hmm.
money. Uh, that for them is, winning. And that
Huge.
for me is winning too, and knowing that I can rely on those people to do what they need to do and also go
It's
above and
huge.
beyond.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think that makes a huge difference in their buy-in. I always say too, if you're only partially invested in somebody, you can't expect them to be anything less than partially invested in you as a business, right? Like if you only get, and that is one of the things coming from New York City and being a trainer in New York City for years before you opened up your own shop, was that something? It was definitely common. It's common in most gyms, right, where everybody just gets paid for the sessions they do. It's like you get
Exactly.
paid for sessions.
And they're
That's
doing a
it,
lot of work outside of the session too.
right?
That's one thing is they're setting up, they're cleaning up at the end. They have to do, the programming, make sure everybody's putting their correct programming in and everything. So, we say like 25 sessions, it's really doing you're doing 25 sessions, it's really like doing 35 hours worth of work. There's a lot of
Right,
good stuff
right.
there.
Right, because there has to be some reasonable expectation that as a coach, if your goal is to mentor other humans and help them achieve a goal, that you're going to do some follow up, that you might have to, in a sense, do a lesson plan, like review their training program. You might have to help them with getting them some nutritional guidance and things like that.
Yep,
Like it's not like you just check in for the hour unless you're a piece of shit coach, but we're not looking for those types of people. We look for people that want to help, but it's like you're not just going to check in for the hour, leave, never, and not speak to that person for 2 weeks until they come in for the next session. You know what I mean? So the reality is that I think gym owners for this, for let's call it for the sake of saving money, kind of poo-poo that side of things. And it's like, no, like nobody, there's a decent amount of work. If you want them to do reach outs, you want them to do check-ins, you want them to do like, you want them to take clients upstairs on the in-body for us. It's like, hey, like when was the last time you did a client success meeting? It's like, oh, well, all that stuff requires. So now when you encompass that and you think about building a team of people who are taking care of clients in a, as we like to say, that five diamond hospitality style, like a hotel, like a five-star hotel, right? Well, that does take time, and then maybe again, like maybe gym owners could create like you have, of where there's a progression of where you start off part time, you're getting paid for hours, then you move to some shift pay, then you move to salary once you've proven yourself and or have immersed yourself in the business.
Yeah, service, you hit the, the nail on the head there. It especially in New York City, this is a service built city. If you don't have good service, they can go down the block, you
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah,
service.
there's 50 gyms to choose from within 10
Yeah.
blocks.
Yeah, and that's that's the defensive scorecard. That's the retention tools. That's where people refer. That service, that extra, you're going out, that
Yeah.
just doing that little extra step, that extra reach out. And you spoke about it at the call the other day. People are paying $800-900. A simple, hey, how's it going? That's not going to cut it.
Right.
Hey, how are you? How's the family? What's going on? Do you have any trips planned? Hey, do you want me to send you a little workout for when you're away?
Yeah.
Things like that. Oh, when's the last time you did an M body? That type of conversation is what people want when they're paying that amount of money.
And
Uh,
I mean, look, I put my stake in the ground. I'm gonna double down, triple down, quadruple down on hospitality and concierge service because the bar in that realm is incredibly low for service industries across the board, right? Like go to any restaurant, unless it's like ultra high end. Service is usually mid,
the only
food's
places I
usually
go to.
mid. Yeah, well, you're bougie guy. You're a bougie guy living in New York City, but like, but you have to in New York City or anywhere here in the burbs, you have to pay a lot of money to get great food and service. If it's a good amount of money, meaning you go out for a regular meal, that's 100 and something dollars, right? Right? It's a lot of times it's kind of shit, right? It's not that good, right? You go out for burgers and a couple beers, it's $100, and you're lucky if like anybody's thanked you or said hello to you, right? So I think the gym industry is really bad at that as well, right? Because you got a lot of meathead trainers, you got younger people. No offense to the Gen Z, but it's not necessarily their fault. It's a generational issue because chivalry is dead, concierge is dead. I think like who's teaching a 22-year-old right now? Who's teaching them customer service and concierge service? Where do they get that? They don't get it
The
in high
baby
school,
boomers.
right? They don't get it in college. Right. They
Yeah.
don't like there's no place unless you worked in a service industry. You grew up working in restaurants like I did, or you worked in a hotel, right, or something like
Yep.
that. Like
That's
where does
where I learned it.
anybody yeah, exactly you were in a hotel and where does anybody get like world-class customer service training? It doesn't exist,
No.
you know,
And
so
And yeah, that's definitely a differentiator. And the thing is also is that now with social media, when people have a great experience, they will share it, on their channels. They will talk about it. And, you know, back to the reviews also online, you want those raving people. They talked about it that when we were at the Innovation Summit, like on Facebook and social media, like you want to develop fans. You want those people virtually to be talking about you because those are the ones who are going to bring you members, bring you clients,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
strategically meeting people and having them come in and giving them that top-notch service will help your business.
Yeah. So moving on. All right. So obviously you got two A players working for you that are like your kind of your GM, sales manager, right? You got Philip and Parker doing a great job. Talk to me about how they've helped transform TS over the last couple of years. I really like both of them, enjoy speaking to and working with both of them. And from what I can see as your coach and friend, they're flying the flag, they're doing a ton of work, and they've really helped move the needle. So talk to me a little bit about what it means to have two great key employees and how they've contributed.
Well, I'll start with Philip. He has been my right hand since the last 4 years. There's something to be said about loyalty, reliability, and just all out like want for the business to succeed. He's definitely somebody that is very invested in the business.
Hmm.
People really like him. He's a presence. The members, they really find him amusing. And what's great about him too is that he cares. I mean, this guy cares. His big thing is mobility. Anytime somebody's tweaked something or anything like that, he's on there. He's, telling them to come mobility. He's like, hey, I work with you one on one. So, as far as a coach, great. great and reliable person as far as a coach. And then as far as management, he really likes to share his knowledge. He really wants to help grow people, see them succeed. Super on point with like his organization. I mean, this guy has color coded, Google stuff. He's one of those guys, probably like Adam.
And
And
that's been a big offense to you, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, but you are more of a quick start.
oh
So
yeah,
you got I walked in your now your office is clean now, but like you got 50 ideas, you got 50 different things going on. You're
yeah.
jumping from, tab to tab to tab, just like me. Right. So you need somebody that's gonna be like, hey, this, like I got my trapper keeper color coded and organized.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you something really funny. We did the Colby test when he came in, and
Hmm.
he thought he was a quick starter, and we did it. And it's like, no, he's a fact finder.
Oh
Big,
yeah, that
and I'm the quick start. So it's nice because, I'll jump into ideas and he will, be like, well, he loves asking questions.
yes.
The big question guy, and
Yes.
you know, pretty useful questions. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
about that.
Yep.
So he definitely slows me down, which I think is good. He's a very good implementer. So when we put something in that's new, he is very good at organizing it and helping me implement it.
And that
Big
makes sense
stuff.
because he's a fact
Love
finder.
stuff.
He's going to get the details like the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And then he's going
Yes.
to, all right, we got to create a system so this rolls out
Yeah.
properly. So that for you, that's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And he's always, I mean, he loves you guys. He looks up to you guys as well. He's used you guys more
Sure.
this year as resources, and he's used the group a little bit more as well. I think that's been really helpful because a lot of times he's just coming to me, and I think that helps him grow, going to others for information. So that's Philip. Parker. I mean, Parker is a sales machine. He
Yeah.
is somebody who has just taken his skill set and just
Now, just
built
so
on
people on the
growth.
call understand,
Yeah,
like Philip, I mean, not Philip, Philip is a coach, and Philip
yeah,
came from the coaching world and was brought on as a coach, ascended himself to GM, still coaches, but
yes,
he's managing the other coaching staff. Parker
correct.
is not a coach. Parker is just your sales guy. He's a
Just my
full-time
sales
sales
guy.
guy.
He
Okay.
was brought in as operations and sales to help,
Yep.
maintain the studio. And he has really just incredibly flourished with his sales skills.
Hmm.
Which book do I have here? I mean, he loved the book. What's it called? The Ultimate Sales Machine. That
Oh
was
yeah, that's a
Hermosi's
good one.
book. Was it
Yeah, leads, $100 million leads,
$100
$100 million
million
sales.
leads? We read both of them. There's like three or four of them. He read that. And To Sell is Human, he's read also. So, he's somebody that if you give him a book, he'll finish it in probably like 3 or 4 days and start implementing stuff like right away. So I just got to keep on giving him more books. But he has definitely found a way. What was actually really useful for him? Scott Carpenter's modules on sales. That was very helpful for him. He watched some of those videos. We'll get more into that high ticket stuff also,
Hmm.
which I want to talk about, and the peptide stuff
Yeah,
that we do. But he's really, really taken over, and he's also become somebody who, Philip is managing, and a lot of times, the coaches look to him like, the big authority, while Parker is more like their kind of like friend. So he
yeah.
will open up, he'll tell us certain things when, coaches are upset or when members are upset.
He's more your like pulse on the
He's
street, like
more
you're,
like,
yeah,
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 the ear to the floor kind of
yeah,
guy.
yeah, 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 which is
And
great.
so, yeah, which is great to have him there. People trust him, they confide in him. And then he kind of like, he won't break people's trust, but he will like hint at certain things. And I know what he's talking about and gives me the ability to fix things.
Sure,
Gives
sure.
Philip the ability to fix things.
Yep.
So that's been really good. We moved him completely into the sales seat and really put Philip a lot more into the implementing programs and managing the coaches seat, which has been great. And they work really well together, which is nice. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah.
So, you had two of your best quarters in company history. However, you had a pretty significant amount of attrition in June, right? You lost 32 members in June. Now, people hear that and they lose their minds. Now, obviously, in New York City, you get a lot of pauses and summer cancellations, and a lot of people, a lot of transient people moving out of the city, right? I think I saw on a stat yesterday by U.S. News and Reports that New York is the second highest exit state in the country next to California, right?
Yeah.
So,
We won't get into that, why that is, but anyway.
well, no
Yeah.
politics on the
No
BOS
politics here.
podcast, right?
But
But we
just
lost
telling you.
at the end of the day, regardless, as our good friend, Waldron always says, I don't care about the reason. If they're not paying, they're not clients, right?
Yes.
Losing 32 members hurts. Okay. What lesson did that teach you about the business? What did we do to right the ship? And how what are some of the preventative measurements for things like that?
So we did write up an anti-attrition playbook. Philip has doubled the amount of reach outs that he's been doing to clients.
It's
So
like
he's
client success meetings, reach outs, calls,
exactly. And now we have the coaches doing that as well. So
Okay.
there is, there's a lot more clarity on the types of reach outs that they should be doing, the types of conversations, the closing the loops, not just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" They say, "Oh, I'm doing good," and then telling us something, and then nobody was responding.
Right. Like I could really, oh, I'm doing great, but I'm having a tough time with my nutrition and blah blah blah. And then, oh, that's great. Well, we should do so. And then nobody does
Yeah.
anything. It's
And
like
then nobody
get
does
them.
anything, but even a response to their response.
Yes,
So,
yes.
through Anomaly. So we've
Yep.
really been doing a better job of making sure that we are, basically keeping the pulse of all the members, which is
Yeah.
good.
In Ari, from Zingerman's,
Yeah, Zimmerman.
yep, for in his Guide to Great Service, which for anybody listen is a phenomenal small book that's easy to read. It transformed my vision of customer service here at Varsity House, and we've taken that a lot further with the Hospitality Handbook by Preston Lee, and others, right? Building this hospitality, going to the Ritz-Carlton hospitality training was life changing. But the losing that many members hurts. And I think like one of the things that Ari talks about in his Guide to Great Service is one of the keys to great service is getting clients what they want as fast as humanly possible, as enthusiastically as humanly possible. And it sounds so goddamn simple. But it's like, yeah, no shit. Like if somebody comes in and wants to lose 10 pounds, like the goal should be like to get them as fast as humanly possible and excited as possible to lose 10 pounds. But a lot of times we lose sight of those goals because we're on to 10 new clients that just came in the next month.
Yeah.
And I think like at the end of the day, when it comes to fitness, my opinion personally is that people come here for a fitness goal, right? Now, a lot of people come here they stay for a lot of reasons, but most people walk through the door of, I want to tone up. I want to lose 10 pounds. My elbow's been bothering me. I need some help. I'm afraid to get hurt, so I'm hiring a personal trainer so I can learn to strength train. You have to do that thing first before all the other good things happen. And the only way we stay on track with the goals is tracking them and communicating about them, right? And that's something you guys have doubled down on.
Yeah. And I did have a great call with Adam the other day, and he kind of showed me what you guys are doing, like the 90-day
Yep.
onboarding. And we're going to take that. We do about like, we do it for a month, and then they get like, again, we keep in touch with the clients. We're checking in on them, but there's no system to track that until they get to their 90-day, and we're like, okay, let's time to do an M body. But so much can happen between that 30 days. There's 60 days in between, and there's some people that fall through the cracks. There should be zero people that fall through the cracks when you have a system in place where there is everything is just monitored and recorded. So we kind of want a zero missed check-in situation here.
Yeah. I mean,
That's important for us. And listen, you're managing, you know, 180. We also have private clients. We got online clients. I mean, it's over at 200 members. It's a lot. It's a lot. And
yes.
I'm also not doing it anymore. Like
Right.
I'm totally hands off. I don't, for lead connector, it's shut off. For Anomaly, all the
Yep.
notifications are shut off. So I go on there once in a while just to look and take, just check it out. But for the most part, it's really all on the team uh, to be that front facing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
I think so.
We
I
just
think
have to
so.
create more and more tracking systems that actually are easy to follow, that can be implemented by everybody, and actually give us some good data. So I think
Yeah.
that's really important for us.
So talk to me now. You mentioned some of your high ticket stuff,
Yes.
right? I know you have a few other revenue streams that we're playing with and that you're working on. Talk
Yeah.
to me about like what you've learned about growing revenue beyond just selling memberships. Obviously, you've kind of moved into a little bit of a high ticket stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, people tend to be more accountable when they're paying more money, which is something that we've found,
Yeah.
uh, that has been, I mean, it, it kind of is like, yeah, definitely, when
Oh,
people,
it makes total sense. I mean, look,
yeah, it makes total
like
sense.
last year I bought a new truck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like anything, you spend a bunch of money on something, right? It's like I'm like out there polishing, and
Yeah.
I'm like my son, I'm like, you be careful getting in my new truck. It's like, you pay it, don't scratch the shit out of it.
And the other thing is the mentorship with it.
Yeah,
So just giving people that extra attention, which we kind of
sure.
just spoke about, that extra service, that five-star service, checking in with them, having, you can have all these different tools. This accountability sheet that we use, which one of my highest paying members right now, who's paying about 5,000 a month,
Doesn't
she
want
doesn't
anything to
use
do with
it.
it.
Don't even use it.
Yeah.
But I text her 3 to 4 times a week, checking in on her. She's away right now in Colombia, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna work out." I message her, "Hey, have you worked out yet? It's been 3 days." She's like, "No, but I'm gonna go do yoga." What do? I send her a workout. Will she do it? Maybe, maybe not. But the fact that I'm checking in on her while she's away in another country and staying on her about her fitness, that's why she's paying that extra money. So that mentorship, that extra, those extra touches and making it more exclusive has been really, really useful for us. A lot of the scarcity mindset when we send it out, we're only taking on 3 or 4 people for this program. Every time I've done that, I've filled up and then usually added another 1 or 2 people onto the program.
Right.
So that's been really helpful. And then the
And
peptides. Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's what I was getting to. I was like, come on,
Yeah.
get to the good stuff.
I mean, yeah, especially in New York City where, listen, vanity is huge. I mean, you're not really seeing too many
And
attitude
everybody's doing
people.
it, so it's like there's no credible voice behind it, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, and people don't really know how to do it in a healthy way. Unfortunately, my sister's somebody who's not really doing it in the healthiest way, and we actually had a conversation because I was like, I got to do something. I was like, she's like, yeah, she's like, when you get back from being away, set me up with a trainer. I'll start doing strength training. But I think the peptide, the GLPs have really given strength training a boost,
Yeah, oh yeah, for
because of the
sure,
muscle loss,
for
you know.
sure.
So so that's something that everybody is like, I do not want to lose muscle tone. I do not want to look emaciated. I want this to look healthy.
Yes,
So
yes,
so the strength training, the nutrition, the hydration, this is the nutrition is really gives you an opportunity to actually sell vitamins and supplements as well, because people are
sure.
just not eating enough food, so they're
Right.
not getting the proper nutrition. But hydration is key as well. Also, people's like mentality changes, so they need that extra touch.
Do you see this in New York City? This might be something that's just anecdotal, but do you see like there's a much larger eating out or ordering out culture instead of cooking your own food culture in New York City versus the suburbs? Like here, it's like most families cook a lot of their own food.
Huge, yes, seamless.
Like
Everybody orders.
nobody cooks. Like nobody cooks.
You know, Yeah, I would say a good portion of them don't, but we're right next to a Trader Joe's right here in the area. People love Trader Joe's. They'll go in there. They make it easy. Yeah, everything's
Yeah,
did you throw it into your air fryer?
yeah.
You
I
know,
know, but a lot of it is the stuff that's disguised as healthy isn't
of
really.
course,
So
of
eating
course.
out makes it tough regardless, makes it tough to lose weight, makes it tough to really see, you know, results as fast as maybe people think they should be getting them. And it's like when you do your research or you have a chance where somebody comes into your concierge program and you have a chance to really dive into their nutrition, you realize that they're eating out, 2, 3 meals a day, 4, 5, 6 days a week. And it's like, all right, well, if we don't get a hold of some of that, like it's going to be really difficult for us to track calories, track macros, really start moving the needle.
I mean, AI has been incredible with that because it's so
Yeah.
easy now to design meal plans for people, sample meal plans for people
Yep. Yep.
that they can follow, that it's food that they like. It maps out the ingredients. So we've been able to actually
Yeah.
work with people and get them to cook more.
Yeah.
And
I've been able to do like a lot of local food guides too. So like now you
yeah,
can just go into ChatGPT or Claude and say, hey, based on, a 2 mile radius, give me a list of, the healthiest menu items at,
100%.
at that quality,
Yeah.
at good restaurants and stuff like that. So people can go out and eat stuff.
And that's something you message to people, you can send them a text
Yeah,
PDF or something like that. And that's again like that five diamond service. You're
sure.
going above and beyond and giving them tools that they can use in order to create better results. So yeah, so the GLPs, a lot of people they don't insurance does not cover it for them. So they're going to be paying thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
So we get it at a wholesale, it's a compound pharmacy. So you get it significantly less price. You do make a little bit of money on it, but you're making money on coaching the person through it.
sure,
So
sure. The real money's
that's
on
incredible.
the access and the personal coaching.
Exactly, exactly.
Yep.
And they feel supported, they feel guided, they feel again that somebody's with them in this journey because it is also mentally it's different when you start all of a sudden losing a lot of weight. You want to share that with somebody else who's maybe not a family member, but
Hmm.
somebody who's coaching you as these wins.
Sure,
So I think
sure.
that's been pretty great.
All right, well let's talk about the next big thing. So obviously you got something big cooking, and
Yeah.
that's, the plane in a sense is on a runway, getting inspected and getting gassed up. What makes TS ready to open up location number two?
I mean, it's the people, the systems, everything's locked in. I'm I I'm a little bit like you, where I'm in the marketing seat, and that's where I sit. And there's more and more time that I'm dedicating to
You
that.
need a project. You need something
Yeah, yeah.
to sink your
I
teeth
mean,
into.
you saw. I mean, I probably right now. I mean, listen, there's a lot of BS work, but about 30 hours is solid work.
Hmm.
And so I could probably double that productivity with another gym and another studio. I already saw it. I'm actually tomorrow morning doing a walkthrough. So I'm gonna
Awesome.
do a walkthrough, did an LOI already. I'm gonna see what they say about that, and then yeah, get things moving.
Let's go.
Yeah, so lower Manhattan. Great area, ground floor. The price is pretty amazing. Mom and pop, which I love. I love dealing with mom and pop landlords. They're a lot more human, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
The guy's
That's a
actually
great tip for people listen for the gym
yeah,
owners out there. Like we try
yeah,
really, really hard to find privately owned spaces if we're going to rent, right?
yeah,
If our plan is to rent, I'd rather deal with a family owned shop or a family office as opposed to some big hedge fund conglomerate, massive, $1 billion like a Vernado. No offense to the Vernado people, but like, you got
yeah,
this giant mega $1 billion land hold company. Like the likelihood that they're gonna give you any reprieve should, something terrible happen is about a big fat zero.
yeah. I mean, my guy was very, very helpful during COVID. I mean, he did
Yeah.
things that my brother-in-law, who's a lawyer, said were unheard of.
Yes.
So, and I
Yes.
probably would
Same.
have left. I
Same.
probably wouldn't have been here. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a smart move. So,
That's great.
but yeah, there's some stuff also like as far as, the advice, I know we were going to talk a little bit about advice that people should be doing as far as like some thoughts to help other gym owners. One of the biggest
Yeah.
things is to know your numbers. We always talk about that. I mean, that's something that I think is essential. And unfortunately, a lot of gym owners in New York City who are kind of just getting by. You'd think that a lot of the gym owners in New York City, because of the competition and because of the huge expenses, they would like be on point with their numbers, their marketing, their KPIs, their KRAs, and things like that. They don't. Like, and I know
Yeah.
for a fact when I talk to
Yeah.
some of them, I'm like, so, what are your projections for next year? What's your retention? Like, what's your attrition? They have freaking no idea. So I think that that is something that you guys have done extremely well is making sure that people know their numbers and kind of hammering that home, making sure people know their average revenue per member. Like, like knowing, one thing that I think was awesome was the executive level day was Adam talking about, are you factoring in historic attrition based on previous month, previous year, and subtracting that from your projections? And we were not. So I was like, that kind of makes sense for me to do that. So, like,
Right.
for example, this month last year, we were at negative 14 members net,
Hmm.
freezes. One other thing that we stopped doing is, and this kind of attributed to our 32. I think there was 5 or 6 people that were that 599 trial. So we've removed that to give us better numbers on attrition. Uh, but so our estimates are basically about we're going to lose $7,800 based on historical data that we need to take away from our projected numbers.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say we are at -6 right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
And we have a week left in the
Yep.
month. So
Yep.
that's great. Plus, we've brought on another thing that you guys did, which was great, which I didn't pull the trigger on, but now because I had salaried employees that could work extra hours, is offering that private training package.
Sure.
Now,
You mean doing
no,
like a little split with the coach
yeah,
so the coaches can make more money off
yes,
their scheduled hours, like they'll get a percentage of the
of the
private training.
private
So they're
training. Yeah.
incentivized to do them
Yep.
and you can offer more of them because now you'll have spots for them.
And we probably brought in last month an extra 10K
That's
because of that.
great. It's great.
And we hit our bonus and everybody got
It's
bonused.
amazing.
That was the catalyst of that. And
Boom.
we're going to do continuations. I charged a little bit too low, but continuations for, 150 a session. And we've also sold a few $200, 250 session packages. I think Parker sold his biggest package of close to 4 grand for private training the other day.
Mm.
Just did a package for this woman, cut her a little deal, and she
Yep.
bought, and
It's great.
so
It's
that
great.
that was huge for us. Um, Another thing I would say, and this has taken me a while, and I think this is one of the main reasons why, other than making a significant amount of revenue profit from one studio, but I just did not trust my leaders. You know,
Mm.
I didn't really trust them. I was being too critical. I wasn't letting them fail. And I think that over the last like 2 years, I've started trusting and building leaders more efficiently. And that's what's allowed me to now think, okay, I got to expand, you know? So um, I think that's important. And then also developing more resources for leads. We talked about like what would happen if Facebook shut down tomorrow or Google shut down tomorrow? What would happen? Do you have the referral systems in place? Do you have signage in certain areas, that people will see you physically and be able to come in and sign up? So I think that that is really good. We've been doing really great work with community events. Um, and yeah, and the
Great.
last thing is giving coaches the career path, which is back to
Sure.
that salary and also explain to them that if they flourish in this, that there is room for management ahead and managing people and rev share and things like that. So I think that was really important.
So what are some things, obviously before we go into the new facility, obviously we always say, the number one thing when you're thinking about scaling is protecting number one, right?
Yes.
So cash cushion, good people,
Hmm.
systems are documented and being followed. Company pulse, meeting pulse is on point and has not missed a beat, if you will, to use the heart analogy, use the pulse analogy in quite some time. Those are usually clues, let's say 6 months, a year of that. And it's like, okay, great. We have money, we have systems, we got people, and we're on a really good cadence of consistency and communication. We're ready to do number two. There's
Yep.
always something when you come from a long-standing single owner operated gym, there's always a lot of baggage or systems or things that were done because, well, Noam will just take care of that. Oh, well, Noam trains these clients or, whatever it is, whatever the systems are. What are some things we have to fix or we're not bringing with us to number two?
Well, the programming. I mean, the program that we have right now with everybody individually doing like their own workout is not efficient. It puts a lot of pressure on the coaches.
Hmm.
You need a very highly skilled coach to be circulating and running from one area where somebody's doing a landmine deadlift to another place where somebody's doing a double racked kettlebell squat, and you're running around coaching all these different movements. So I think that more along the lines of like a program of the month with different variations is going to help significantly. That's one of the biggest things. I think other than that, I think everything that we got going on right now um, is pretty solid. I probably want to take almost everything else that we're doing and bring it over there. I probably will not offer just based on the staffing issue is not bring any private training over there. Probably really try to keep it all small group, personalized training. Um, yeah, I mean, again, everything that we have. One thing that I think is going to be very useful for us is the appointment setter that we're working on right now and the AI chatbot, which you guys have already implemented. I think that's going to be super helpful for us. I think another thing that we will try to get away from is doing the complete one-on-one intro session. I think we put people on an M body. Here's your M body. Okay, go into the session because it'll be easier to do because it's one program that everybody's doing variations of. So based on the
Sure.
phone call, hey,
So you're talking about creating like a weekly training template,
yeah,
having progressions and regressions for people based upon their goals, limitations, and needs, but keeping everybody doing similar movement patterns,
pattern.
similar activities, so the coach
Exactly.
can coach a group of people and focus on, hey, we know, like, I'm just using examples here for people listening, but hey, we know we're doing a hinging movement today. So
Mhm.
that coach can, in a sense, dig into their hard drive, queue up all their hinging cues and knowledge and ability, and then work the spectrum of people. Maybe the new person coming in is literally doing like a standing, RDL learning. Somebody else is doing kettlebell swing. Somebody else could do a barbell, whatever. But the idea or theme of the main movement for today is learning how to hinge.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. And we're
great,
working on an app right now. It's
great.
pretty much done. That I kind of mentioned to you that
Yep.
shows the regressions and progressions lists, which boom, you just put it in there based
Yeah,
on what you see in their movement or what we gather from the phone call. You get
great.
70-year-old, hey, probably not going to be doing swings with that 70-year-old. We're going to focus on doing
What do
maybe
you say? What do you say to the X's and O's nerd who's like, my programming is the Dead Sea Scrolls, like it's top secret. Nobody can program the way I
that
do.
I'm
Nobody.
hiring. I'm not hiring somebody like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you said it first,
Yeah,
Noam.
I'm
So
not hiring somebody like that. I
so
I want somebody who is a certified good person and who's motivated and wants to motivate others and knows how to be part of a team. I don't
you know,
want that person that has the ego.
yeah, and
No ego.
I always have a saying that everybody thinks I'm saying it backwards, but I'm not. I always say great is the enemy of good, right?
Yeah,
And they're like, no, isn't it good is the enemy of great? I said, nope, not in business, because in business, most people only need good. The 80%, the bell curve,
yeah.
need a consistent, they need to show up 3 days a week. They need a consistent progression. They need basic movements, but what they really need is somebody who sees, hears, and understands what they're trying to accomplish and helps them get it enthusiastically. It's
Like you
not
said,
about,
socially smart. You
yeah,
need to be socially smart. That's what
yep.
you need.
You don't need, Charles Poliquin. You don't need, no offense to Eric Cressy, you don't need guys like that because you don't, not that you don't need that, but you don't need to have that level of detail for a 50-year-old woman who's trying to lose 20 pounds. They need to show up consistently. And again, you're dealing with some people who are, most of them are pretty high net worth or high income. And so a lot of, like you said, they can go anywhere. If they don't fall in love with the people, the place, and the process, they're not training hard or doing any complicated movements anyway. Like before I
Yeah.
could ever do any type of like advanced movement here with anybody, they have to be here for quite some time, and they actually have to like coming and being part of the team.
I mean, we're probably going to even take out kettlebell swings, to be honest.
Yeah,
You
we don't
know,
do them anymore.
I know you don't do them. Yeah,
Nope,
I mean,
no
we
swings.
lost like two clients in the last like 3 months to, oh, I hurt my lower back swinging, and I'm just like anybody who's 50 years old plus,
No.
like I told Philip,
No
no,
overhead
squat
barbell
and deadlift,
work. No,
squat and
yeah.
deadlift. That's
No
it.
double arm overhead.
Yeah, yeah,
No heavy, no barbell deadlifts. We've gone
yeah,
all hex dead. Like again,
yeah,
like and people listen, like like the collegiate strength coach at Alabama. If you're listening, you might be rolling over and cringing right now, but you're working with 0.0001% freakazoids,
yeah,
and I'm trying to get Franny, mom of three,
yeah.
moving and shaking a couple days a
Little
week. So
stronger.
she,
Yeah.
right, and feeling good about herself so she could go to her, $2 million beach house on the weekends and have her rosé and not feel guilty about it,
And hold her grandchildren without lower back pain,
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know?
So
So,
that's great. So
yeah,
no, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, obviously the numbers speak for themselves, the growth
yeah,
in the company. Me and you over the last couple of years have become personally a lot closer as friends. We've hung out a bunch of times. I've gotten to know you as a man, as a business person. You overcame a lot of adversity in the last couple of years with moving parts in employees, personal life stuff, right? Like everybody, we have a saying at the Business of Strength in most of our gyms, the circumstance life is going to throw you circumstances. The circumstances in life do not negate your responsibility to your business, your team, and your earning potential, right? You have to make a living, especially in New York City. You've done an exceptional job. The
but
last thing I'll
also,
leave you with here is why does this is a loaded question, but why
yeah.
does TS deserve to be the Business of Strength Gym of the Year?
So, yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I was nominated last year, I didn't really feel like I deserved it. I didn't think that I contributed enough to the group. I didn't think that I had the numbers. This year, I think that I we talked about this being active on the Facebook group is only part of it. But I've really had some amazing conversations with owners in the gym over the phone, Zooming with some of them. I know, got Tony to come down, from Canada and do a presentation with a bunch of fitness professionals and everything like that. Hosted him. I mean, it was an incredible time. Had both of you guys come in, sending my coaches over to all the seminars and have them contribute as well. So I think that aside from the numbers, which we've been really doing well, I think that I've definitely contributed to the group in a way where, I mean, I've benefited greatly from the group, but I think I've also um, given a lot to the group as well.
Tons.
And yeah, and even the Innovation Summit, connecting you guys with Eddie. I mean, that's stuff that I do because I'm not like I want recognition for it. I see good people and I want to connect good people and see where it goes. So
You've helped me personally. I mean, I have some great things cooking on the back end because of relationships that you've opened up for me.
I
And
love
I
that.
think the same goes for everybody in the group.
Yeah,
I can't thank you enough for trusting in us and trusting your business and your finances and and the growth of yourself as an entrepreneur with me, Dan, and Adam, and the rest of the team at the BOS. Thanks for being a great contributing
yeah.
member of our private mastermind group, the Strongest Year Project. And congratulations on another nomination for Gym of the Year. You've definitely earned it. And, obviously, I'm not going to divulge the voting process at this point, but you deserve to be here just as much as anybody who has ever deserved to be here. So this has been a great
Thank you,
year.
man.
Thank
I
you, Noam.
appreciate that, man. And I'll see you in Park City, baby.
We'll see you in Park City.
Yeah.
Noam Tamir, TS Fitness, right in NYC. We'll put the links to him. Check out Noam on Instagram. Tell everybody, what's your Instagram?
It's Noam Tamir NYC is our Instagram, our website, tsfitnessnyc.com. And yeah, man, and then our Instagram T is TS Fitness NYC for our fitness studio.
We'll
And
put all the links in the bio so you guys could check Noam and his team out.
yeah,
Definitely, if you're in NYC, one of the places that I would stop if you're into if you're an entrepreneur and you're into growth and you're into scale and you want to go to one of the best gyms in the city, check out Noam and his team. Give them a buzz, schedule a training session, come see what the hype is about, and spend some time. You will walk away with a lot of great ideas and a lot of tips, and see what a top facility who's making it in the toughest city in the world, in my opinion, has done to get there. So thanks, Noam. Thanks for being part of the crew,
My
and
pleasure.
we'll see you in Park City,
Let's
my
let's
friend.
keep it going. Let's keep it
Let's
going.
go.
All right.